90% of women in the UK are unhappy with their skin. That's a really sad statistic. Add that to the fact that on average, we can have anywhere between 50,000 and 70,000 thoughts a day. That negative self-talk, that negative dialogue is the biggest culprit for our inability to trust our intuition that our self-care is important. We internalize so much in not the most productive way for ourselves that we don't do it. We stop looking after ourselves because our self-talk is so crippling and so damaging. Those 60,000, 70,000, let's say average 60,000 thoughts a day can be absolutely crippling for our self-care and our soul happiness. The journey of self-care isn't simply face masks and spa days, even though they are glorious and extremely fulfilling. The journey of self-care starts in the mind and how we talk to ourselves. Welcome back, friends. And today, if you haven't gathered already, we're going to talk about mindset and how that impacts your self-care. Okay, don't get me wrong. External practices are 100% part of this process. And to be perfectly honest, it's normally where most of us start. Most of us start with external self-care practices. The spa days, the skincare, the walks in nature, the coffees with your friends, the lunches out, the taking time out to read a book. Those practices are normally where we start. Those practices are normally the stepping stone to realizing internally that there's more. There's more that you need. There's more that you value. There's more that you will benefit from. The key to remember, I think, is that the external practices quite often can be fleeting moments that we grab when we're frazzled. And that's what we're trying to avoid right now. That is where we don't want to be frazzled and seeking out external practices to bring back some balance. We want to retain balance by honing in on our self-care practices before we become frazzled, because that will give us the equilibrium to carry us through the seasonal life chaos that we find ourselves roller coastering throughout the days, throughout the weeks, throughout the months, throughout the seasons. If we can bring balance into our normal everyday, intentional, balanced practices into our normal everyday routines, then we don't seek out solace and in individual time as a last ditch attempt to regain some joy and happiness. They become part of our day, our weeks, our months, that allow our days, weeks, months to flow more easily through the chaos of life. Because let's face it, life is chaotic. Parenting is chaotic. Children are chaotic. There is an emotional roller coaster of craziness where children are concerned. And right now we are in December, we are in the crazy emotional roller coaster season where we are pulled from pillar to post while we all try to relax and stay calm and do it all. And so prioritizing you now, especially now at this time of the year, is a crucial step in your overall whole family's happiness. The hustle and bustle of mum life is real. And it is so easy to not prioritize our own well-being. It's so easy to get bogged down and get sucked in. Self-care is a shift in mindset. The point to sort of remember, the point to think about is that the external practices are vital and important, but quite often we fall into those because we're frazzled, because we have sought them out on purpose, because we have let our cups run dry and because we haven't looked after ourselves in the first place. So we turn to external practices to bring back some balance. But if we are able to bring that balance into our daily practice, then they become part of your routine. The moment mindset comes into play, you change your path. Those 60,000 thoughts a day we have are your guiding path. They are the positivity that you can inject into your world in order to keep it calm and on a even playing field, or as even as we can, as we juggle these chaotic, crazy, busy lives and seasons. If your thoughts are positive, a snowball happens. Your thoughts are positive, your actions change. Those around you are impacted by your actions. It's a snowball of kindness, of words, of actions, of impact, of intention. And the more joy you show to yourself, the more joy others get from you, because that energy radiates out. That energy has an impact. That energy changes the course of your actions, and it changes the actions of those around you. Joy, gratitude, and intention are powerful, incredible shifts of internal energy that you put out that have a knock-on effect to everybody around you. So it starts with you, it starts with your mind, it starts with your self-talk, your self-belief, your self-worth, and the knowing that what you're doing is right, what you're trying to achieve is right, that you're on the path of the greater good of you and those around you. Because self-care isn't selfish. It isn't selfish even in the slightest, because the knock-on effect to everybody around you is the greatest gift you can give to those and to you. Every person you interact with, when you are fulfilled, when you are happy, when you are joyful, when you are satisfied, when your cup overflows, every person around you benefits from that. Every person around you benefits from you prioritizing you first. You will glow, you will radiate, your energy impacts. Let's not forget the absolutely humongous benefit as mums that we are teaching our children something fundamental. We're teaching our children self-love, self-worth by choosing self-care, whether it be a snippet every day to start with, or whether it be a big, glaringly loud, proud, obvious thing. They're going to follow you, they're going to copy you, they're going to model you. That is the greatest gift. As a mum, that is the greatest gift you can give your child, by teaching them that you and your inner world radiates around you. That kindness you show to yourself is powerful. Just think about that impact on them. It is the greatest gift. Our goal as parents is to raise happy, healthy, joyful, respectful, loving children. And what better way than with self-love? When you think of it in that way, you couldn't think that self-care is selfish. It's just impossible to feel guilty about self-care when you know that incredible snowball that it has on those around you, and specifically, especially our little people tugging at our ankles, watching, listening, and learning from every single thing that we do. Okay, a science bit. The quality of your, let's say, average 60,000 thoughts, they're vital. The quality of those thoughts are vital. If you have negative thoughts as the majority, that is just a completely horrendously horrible, there we go, downward spiral. Each day you use 100 billion neurons that connect to 500 trillion points. The signals that travel through the pathways form the basis of memories, thoughts and feelings. Thoughts and your emotions go hand in hand. Behavioral patterns that you currently have are being fed by existing thoughts and existing patterns, and that's how you feed your mind. You feed your mind by patterns and behaviors. Let's think about how we can change those patterns and behaviors to bring about the positive thoughts, to bring about the positive change, to have this knock-on impact to your self-care and those 60,000 thoughts a day being positive, being on the path of betterment. Self-care is a journey. There is no one size fits all. It really is about honing in on what you love, or let's think about what you used to love before now, when life was calmer, when you could prioritize yourself. What did you do that lit a fire in your belly? Can you do those things again? Have your joys and your passions changed? Can you carve out time to do something new? There is endless external things that do impact internal. Reading, walking, going to the gym, meeting friends, skincare, sitting down simply with a cup of tea and a book, You will thrive in different environments than I will. And it's about finding that balance. And it's about intentionally using those things to bring yourself back to you. So how about making one intentional change, whether it be a weekly change, a daily change, a monthly change, something that is very intentional and very specific. You could bring a change to something that you already do. So if life just feels so overwhelming that you can't bring in a new practice, make a change to something that you already do. So for me personally, one of the very first things I did was my daily dog walk. I changed the way in which I do it. And by that, I mean, I intentionally stopped multitasking. I put my phone away. I stopped listening to podcasts. I stopped ticking off my to-do list, adding to my to-do list. I was just there in nature with the dog, chatting to the dog, looking at the sky, looking at the trees, listening to the birds, stopping and smelling the roses, like actually physically stopping and looking at the flowers and taking pictures of the flowers and playing with my camera, looking at the detail. And especially at the season right now, crisp and cold and brisk and looking at your breath in the cold air, intentionally being with myself, intentionally having some time to myself in nature. And something I did every day. I walked the dog every day, but I got lost in my phone and in my head. I got lost inside of the world of busyness that I have created for myself. And so my intentional shift was to use that time to take myself out of that busy chaos world and intentionally be at peace, be at one. I am very lucky that I have a very hyper, beautiful, energetic Springer Spaniel who will chomp me on the ankles if I don't take him out every day. I will loudly and proudly show gratitude to him because he makes me go out every day. And there are days when it is grim and I do not want to go out, but I do because he loves it and I love it once I'm out. Maybe you don't have a dog, but maybe you could borrow a neighbour's dog, or maybe you just force yourself to go out anyway. Maybe you know in your heart and soul that being outside is just so damn good for you that you're just going to force yourself to do it. Once a week, maybe. I do it daily. But start slow. Start where it feels good for you to do it, where you know you can commit to it and where you know you can keep doing it, because it's the consistency that will pay off over time. My second intentional shift was with my skincare routine. Previously, I would have mindlessly slapped on my stuff, washed off my face, slapped on my moisturizer and gone to bed. But I swapped to a organic, natural, freshly made company with the most beautiful, luxurious, sensational, aromatherapeutic ingredients that completely shifted the way in which I did my skincare. I very intentionally started to spend a bit longer. I very intentionally switched off the monologue that goes on and on and on inside of your head sometimes, and very intentionally honed in on, this is a moment for me, this is a moment of calm, this is a moment to, at the end of the day, take the day off, take the stresses away, or in the start of the day, start my day with intention and routine and self-love and self-joy and self-worth. And in a very short space of time, I saw the physical changes on my skin. My reflection in the mirror then changed the internal monologue where I wasn't criticizing, I wasn't looking at dull and damaged and grey and lackluster skin anymore. And so that impact compounded every day. You start to see the changes, you start to feel the changes, you want to do more. That's actually where this journey came from. Doing this on YouTube, that came from that practice. Like, oh my goodness, two simple things, intentionally done with skincare ingredients that are phenomenal and a dog that forced me out, have had this snowball effect where I now am here sharing with you. The simplicity of doing something that you do anyway, but doing it differently, intentionally, specifically for you, your purpose, your joy, your happiness, that is powerful. That is where the change happens. That is where your mindset shifts. That's where your self-worth, your self-growth, your self-respect, that's where it comes from. Intentional, small shifts, Small changes that compound over time. They're just the drop in the ocean that is the possibility of what's to come. So how are you going to start? How are you going to start this change? How are you going to start this shift? Step one is to just think. Just think about what you used to do, what you used to love. Could those things be something that you do now? Or think about what you already do. And could you do an intentional shift? Could there be something that changes the way in which you speak to yourself, the way in which you see yourself, the way in which you show yourself compassion and love? Are there things that you do now that I might have just highlighted to you that could possibly be that small step towards your change? There's a core fundamental thing that you need to do, set, write down, put it on your phone, write it on a post-it as a reminder every single day, and that is to not let guilt creep in. That is to remember the impact that this has on everybody. Ripple effect. That is how you remind yourself that you should not feel guilty. You should be proud and shouting from the rooftops, hence why I'm here, that this is important, it's vital, it's absolutely essential for us caregivers to care for ourselves. As mums, we have a very unique opportunity to role model to our children. This is powerful for you, for them, for your family, for your friends, for your colleagues, for everybody. Self-care is powerful in the most positive way. No guilt allowed. A support network where you can come and have a cup of tea or a gin or a glass of wine can be really vital as well. So in the description, I'll put a link to my Facebook group. Come in, have a nosy, have a look around, come for the motivation, come for the hints, come for the tips. I share my skincare routine, facial massage, prompts and reminders and inspiration and motivation and accountability to remember that you need this, you deserve it, you are worthy of it, and you should have it, and it is the best thing for you and everybody around you. True self-care is knowing in your heart and your head that you are worthy of this time that you're going to carve out. And it's vital. Self-care could be anything that you want it to be, but what you need is time. Self-care is time, committed time, whether it be a fraction of your day or a good solid chunk of your day. Time is needed. Acceptance is vital. Knowing that it's a journey. It's a journey of discovery. A step towards the life or back into a life that you deserve. So give yourself permission, allocate some time, prioritize your time, allocate hourly, daily, weekly, whatever feels right, and remember you deserve it. Do it consistently and you will benefit from it. This is a journey. Be kind to yourself. Don't criticize. If you begin to struggle and criticism creeps in, think about how you would comfort a friend in need. If you had a friend frazzled at your door, what would you say to her to do to regain her joy and her happiness? Now treat yourself with the same compassion and treat yourself with the love that you would show others. Making a to-do list might be extremely helpful. Often I would call it a brain dump. Just throw down on a piece of paper all the things that's in your mind, all the jobs that you need to do, and then prioritize what's actually really important, what's not really important, and what can wait for another day, and then slot those into time slots that match a routine where you can also carve out time for yourself. I've got loads of other suggestions which I'm going to dive into on another video. One which I have very recently stumbled into, which has been absolutely mind-blowing and really exciting to learn about, is cyclical living. I'm really excited to do probably some videos rather than a video because it's quite overwhelming, and I'm going to try and break it down as much as I possibly can, but it is phenomenal, especially for women. But I will delve into that on another video. Once I make it, I'll put it in the description below so that it's easy accessible if you watch this video after the time. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have found this insightful. If you want to see more content like this, please let me know in the comments. If you've got any questions or any suggestions, let me know. And of course, as you always get asked on YouTube videos, subscribe and hit the bell icon so that I know that I have provided something of worth for you, and to stay updated with my next videos. The cyclical living one I'm very excited about, but I have got so many to share. My mind is bubbling with how quickly I can make them and get them out for you. Now that I've finally pressed the button and we've gone live, I'm like, come on, let's get all the videos out straight away. Clearly I need time to make them, upload them, write all the good stuff, and hopefully get you all to watch them. So have a glorious day, morning, week, night, and I wish you productive, guilt-free self-care practices to soothe your soul today and every day. See you on the next one.